Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet, and we're going to be getting back into some Cube World now with a little bit more of an in-depth look at the mechanics of the game, and in particular, the Water Mage, how he works, he or she, and how to use him against some very, very scary enemies. So let's get stuck into it. First thing I want to show you is the stats panel on the left. We'll go into these in a bit more detail. Our power is sort of like is basically an item level, so that's the amount of item level you can have. When you're a low level, it goes up fairly quickly, maybe 2 or 3 per level, but it starts to scale off, and eventually it'll only go up every few levels, then every dozen levels. And yeah, I mean, you get to like power level 99 at like level 800 or something, and power level 100 is another 1,000 levels after that. So it's built, the game's designed so that you get something. And hold on for a second. Bugger off, you little bastard. There we go. As you can see, I'm pretty powerful at this point. Level 30, so I've leveled up a little bit since the last video, and yeah, doing really, really well. But getting back, so I'm power level 60 as level 30, but it's not going to shoot up really, really high from here on. It's going to start to scale back quite a bit. HP is pretty obvious. That's your health. And I think I'm not at full health. I probably got a... Oh, that's it. I accidentally healed my pet. I don't know. It says 104, but I'm actually at 103, so it's a little bit off, but whatever. Armor, you can get this off these items. You can see this one's got HP, armor, resilience. So you can get any of these these 6 stats from items, and the items also deal with power as well. You can see this one's power level 46. So, and if I didn't have a power of 46, I wouldn't be able to use it. I do have this very nice weapon here. It's actually, I get confused because there's rings and then there's bracelets, which are actually your weapons. So yes, this is a weapon, and you can see that's power 76 with some very, very sweet stats, but I cannot use it yet because I don't have a power level of 76 yet. But yes. So armor is physical damage, how much sort of dampens the physical damage you take. Resilience, resistance, it's, yes, definitely resistance, and that's magical damage that you take. Crit is critical hits, and you will see them pop up from time to time. Tempo is your attack speed, so I've really, really been concentrating on tempo over crit, because I love attacking fast, and it actually helps out with the Water Mage. As you'll see in a second. And reg is regeneration, so that's your stamina regeneration, and of course stamina you use for hang gliding and climbing, just climbing walls and stuff like that. So not really a combat stat, but it's on items anyway. It's on some items. There we go, reg of 0.2, so I mean, you're not really going to knock it back if you do get it. So yeah, some awesome stats on there. Weapon rating and armor rating, I'm not sure what these mean. I assume they're something to do with maybe your item level versus your actual level. So if you've got some pretty crap gear, then that will be low. But I've got some pretty epic gear actually. A lot of white items. You'll notice that if I could have like a blue level 40 and a white level 43 item, and I actually like the 43 because overall it's got a bit more tempo than crit. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And we're going to move on. We're going to discuss the spells. Actually, I can have both of these up at the same time for the Water Mage. So right now, I've got these. I can't actually highlight over these. I can highlight over these, but not these ones. So that's a bit unfortunate. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to kill some enemies. So the number 1 attack is just a basic thing. If you're paying attention down the bottom, you saw that it went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. It counts them on all characters when you get hits in a row, but it counts them a bit more when you're actually attacking enemies, because your attack speed actually increases the more hits you get. So if you get up to hits where it's like 30 or 40 hits in a row, and that really, really boosts your attack speed. And not only is that awesome for damage, but it also helps out with your healing, as I'll explain in a sec. Now you see this blue circle on the ground? That actually heals you if you stand in it. So there we go. You can see there's green numbers on top of me healing me up. So that's not too much, just about 1 a second or so. And if I use my secondary attack, which is a huge one, it gives me a lot more healing. And the secondary attack does a lot more damage as well. As you can see, it's got a cast time though, but it's not too slow. It's a little bit fast because I've got all that tempo, but it's not as fast. This one's basically an instant cast. This one takes a little bit longer. And that one also stuns, and it hits a slightly bigger AoE, I believe. So yeah, that's an AoE stunning sort of spell, and it does a lot more damage. So yeah, this is actually the area we're going to go into eventually to kill this boss, but I'm going to explain the rest of my abilities soon before we get back to it. Now, the first ability you actually spend points in is Healing Stream. So that lets you heal yourself. So there we go. I'm going to cast this, and I just healed myself for a ton. And you can see it only took up about 50 mana. When you only have 1 point in this, it takes up about 80 mana. And it basically fully heals you if you use the maximum amount of mana. So there's no actual healing amount, it just basically puts you up to full if you use the full 50 mana. You can cast it when you've only got 10 mana, but of course it'll do less healing. And yeah, more points decreases the amount of mana it requires. So that's the healing. One very, very important thing to keep in mind when you are playing a Water Mage, especially if you have a pet, you start casting the spell, if you mouse over the pet, it'll start to heal the pet. You see I mouse over it, then I just move away. There is no way to stop targeting the pet or your allies if you're playing with allies once the mouse over has worked on them. So if you're pointing at the boss, you're hitting, and your pet is right next to the boss, and you two are heal at that point, most likely you're going to target your pet. And if the boss is ranged and he's shooting at you, and you need to heal and you accidentally heal your pet, it can be a massive pain in the ass. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Usually, if I'm doing that, I turn my mouse away, look in another direction, and then heal, and then turn back to the boss. And that way I don't get screwed. But you can also just not have your pet at all, although the pets are still pretty good, and from time to time they can pull the aggro, the direction of the boss's attacks off you and onto the pet, which is always good. And yes, of course, with the blue circle, if you're hitting the boss, the blue circle will be under the boss, and that will mostly keep your pet alive. It doesn't always, but it mostly will. So let's have a look at some more abilities. The Mana Shield. Mana Shield, it's got to last for 30 seconds, and that absorbs a whole crapload of damage. Not a huge amount, but as you put more points into it, it absorbs more damage, and the cooldown lasts a lot less. So, well, not a lot less, but it gets smaller and smaller. So you can definitely use up your shield in like 2 seconds if you're not careful, if people are hitting you. And yeah, definitely that is not good, but if the cooldown goes down, you can use it more often. And definitely if you're getting hit, it's always nice to put that up. It doesn't cost any mana to cast that. And yeah, so you should always keep that up as much as possible. 3, of course, is a teleport. Teleports you a fair amount away. And that also has a cooldown, and it also does not cost any mana. So that's another free spell. They've got a 4th slot here. I don't know what goes in the 4th slot. It's obviously saving it for something else, but there we go. So those are the spells that we have as our Water Mage. And we've got a few possible options. I don't know what we'll be doing against this boss. He's probably, I think he's a melee-like dinosaur, so we'll probably be kiting him. Now, kiting, the way you want to do that is you want to run away and you want to use your second attack, the big one, as much as possible. It doesn't have a 100% chance to stun, but it does have a fair chance to stun. About 1 in every 2 or 3 hits will stun him, and I have yet to meet a boss which does not get stunned by that attack. So really great. You stun him. When you're safe distance away, you hit him with number 1. Usually, since you're running and shooting all over the place, you're not going to be able to build up a large amount of hits in a row, because a single miss will completely screw your hit counter off, and it's very, very easy to miss when you're trying to kite. So that's not going to be that good. Now the second way you can do this is basically just heal through the damage, and this actually works quite well. If you've got a ranged guy, you just shoot him from distance, you get a beautiful hit amount up. You don't use the second attack at all unless you're feeling very confident. You save all your mana for your heal. Whenever your health got going down, you heal, and then you just keep hitting him. And your hit count will get so high, you'll start attacking an insane amount. And yeah, it would be completely good. And I just realized it's the middle of the night, so this is not going to look very, very good. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and we're going to have a crack anyway. And there is the boss. You can see that guy up there. And we are going to have a crack at him right now. Oh, you can see he's he's also a little bit slow though, but we are going to be... Oh, he does a jump. Okay. So there we go. We're definitely going to be kiting. We will try and just face up against him. And just see how this tactic works. See, that's not going to work too much because he just shoots past us, he runs past us. So even if we could absorb the damage, basically him running past us would send our attack off, and that results in a miss. So we can't get an unlimited high hit counter. Fortunately for me though, this boss isn't actually that hard. I've managed to pick an easy one, and I'll probably pick a nice hard one after this, so I can show you a bit better the kiting technique. And yeah, this guy's going to go down like a ton of bricks. I have actually fought bosses, red level bosses, that literally have taken me half an hour to kill. So as soon as this guy goes down, we'll go back and we'll find a harder one, and I'll show you some proper tactics. But we'll just get this guy down first. Go on, get down. And definitely, if you're keeping an eye on the bottom of the screen where it counts the hits up, you should be able to tell it just gets so fast when you get a hit counter up. It really, really is completely awesome. There we go. His goes down. I didn't actually get any items off him. Oh, I did. I got a shield. So that's alright. You can see they do a crap load of XP as well. They just got 400 XP from him, and I only need 600 total to get to the next level. So that's really awesome. But yeah, let's go find a harder boss, and let's go to an inn as well. Go to an inn if you hate the night, because it automatically forwards it to 7 AM. So yeah, I will catch you guys in just a second. Alrighty, we are back in here, and we are going to be checking out a very next boss. And I actually did this guy yesterday when I was not too many levels lower, and he is quite a pain in the ass. He's mainly a ranged boss, so we're just going to get rid of this guy first, and we're going to try and just out-heal him. And we should see the power of the out-healing strategy. This guy, so let's give him a crack. Just let him come down a little bit. And you can see this guy is not going down very fast at all. Actually, I may have been thinking about somebody else, because this guy looks like a melee boss, so we may have to kite him. And I forgot to kill any of his friends. Maybe he's ranged one day and melee the next, but there we go. Trying to stun him. As you can see, my secondary spell does not always work at stunning him. There we go. There's a nice stun. So that's going to work fine. But yes, I mean, this game, they do not go half-assed when it comes to giving the bosses lots of health. And yes, I have seriously had bosses that take about half an hour. But I'm not going to, this video is not going to go for half an hour. This is just going to be demonstrating how to kite bosses in this thing. So you just right click, and that gives out your secondary spell. You run away. You can heal on the fly, which is always a very good option. And some of them do have sort of charging attacks, which can screw you over a little bit, and usually you will take some hits. But try and keep your shield up as well. That's what I keep forgetting to do. That's not good. That's not good. Run, 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 run. All right. And yeah, that's basically what you have to do. I mean, you can try and just hold him there and just heal through his attacks. But usually with melee bosses, they do quite a lot of damage. It's very hard to heal through it. Ranged bosses, you've got a better chance because they don't do as much damage. And especially with bosses that actually spawn ads, like this guy is doing, very, very hard, because the ads will definitely send the amount of damage over the top. And this guy's actually so far behind, he's chasing me around the wrong way. But there we go. Going to keep hitting this guy. And you can see we've been fighting for a good minute, 2 minutes now, and I've got maybe 3-4% of his health. So definitely we are not going to completely wait until this guy gets wiped out, but we are just going to show you the mechanics so far. So when you're in trouble, you run away, you heal as much as you can. You get that shield back up, and then you go in. And when he's stunned, you start using your primary attack. If he's not stunned, if he's running after you, you do not use your primary attack under any circumstances. Another thing I forgot to mention is that when you use your attack, your primary or secondary, you do not run as fast. You actually slow down. So that's not good. You can try and teleport, then turn around and use your primary attack. But, yeah, it'll work a little bit. My god, how many guys are chasing me? This is just insane. Okay, so there we go. We're just going to go around maybe one more time. And then I'm going to turn off fraps and maybe we'll come back to it. And, yeah, see if I can actually take this boss down. And if he does get very, very low and it looks like I might be able to beat him, then I will turn fraps back on. Or maybe I'll just keep going for another few minutes. At least to take out these ads because this is just absolutely nuts. You can see I didn't get a full heal off there because I only had 27 mana at that point. And that's just about half. There we go. Stun this guy. Come on, stun. There we go. Nice teleport. I don't know how we pulled this guy. Usually I try and clear the area before I pull a boss, but I don't think I did. And every time I run a little bit outside the circle, not good. Strafing is very important here as well. Your movement, making sure you're not anywhere near the guys. And it is quite easy to actually dodge their range attacks if you know what you're doing. Okay, looks like I went a bit too far away from the boss there. They do reset sometimes. Definitely you get too far away from them and they reset. And usually you're okay, but that time I was completely ignoring the boss, worrying about the mammoth, and he obviously just got too far away. So yeah, not good at all. And he's probably going to kill me now. So we are going to finish it off here because, yeah, it took me like 5 minutes to get about 5% of his health down, so I don't think I'm even going to bother trying to kill this guy. He's just too hard. But you can see how insane some of these bosses are, especially the world bosses. There's dungeon bosses, which are generally easier than there's the world bosses, which is basically just them and whatever adds they summon, and that's it. And these guys are just nuts. And I don't know, if you're trying to level, do not go for world bosses, go for dungeons. Let's say this boss probably is worth about a few hundred XP. The dungeon, you'll go for about 30 or 40 guys, each of which are worth 10 XP at least. And it will take about the same time as it will just to kill this world boss. So definitely worth it to go for a dungeon instead of world bosses. And that is going to be my next video, going through a dungeon and showing you the tips that you need to actually survive going through a dungeon with a Water Mage. Now, of course, it'll be a lot easier to have a group of friends, have maybe a warrior in there who's tanking all the stuff, have maybe some rogues and stuff to help out with the DPS, but it is definitely possible to do a hard dungeon with just this guy, god damn it. And yes, next video I will definitely show you how. So we're going to just keep running away from this guy, and meanwhile you guys have a lot of fun out there getting Cube World, playing Cube World. It is just basically a fun leveling experience and fun fighting. And yeah, that's all there is to it. So, alright, screw it. I'm just going to run up to this guy, just going to full frontal face him and see if I can take him down. And don't tell me he despawned already. He did despawn. Whatever. We're just going to hit him. We're just going to try and stand up to him. I got my shield on. I'm going to be hitting him. Blah, 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 blah. Going to hit the potion down. And I'm dead. So, yes, you can see some bosses you absolutely cannot just hit them straight up because you will die. So, kiting is the way to do it. And yeah, some of them can take some time. So there we go. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time in a dungeon run in Cube World, and that should be awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Hairy Muppet.